Good morning readers, it's Tilly here from Tilly's Shelf and welcome to another Bookish breakfast. Once again, I'm not at home, I'm at a little B&B in Bloomsbury. So yesterday was another day of this course that I'm on, and it was Beau and I's anniversary this week of when we met, so we've just tacked it onto a little trip that we're going to do to celebrate that. So Beau is hiding on the bed. He says he's not going to say hello. No, he's not going to say hello. But I thought I'd just take a couple of minutes to give you another little reading update. So last week I talked a little bit, a tiny bit about Tess of the D'Urbervilles, and I really love how many wonderful comments that video got, even though it was just like, I don't know, maybe a minute of me saying, oh, what do you think about Tess of the D'Urbervilles? There's actually loads and loads of comments there, so if you're interested in Tess of the D'Urbervilles, do go and read those. I haven't responded to any of them yet, and I do feel bad about that, but there hasn't actually been time for me to sit down and properly think about what I want to say. And because I love Tess so much, I want to be able to give a measured response to the different things that people have said about her. So this week I've been continuing with that audiobook of Tess of the D'Urbervilles, narrated by Peter Firth. I think Peter Firth, well, hopefully Peter Firth. And I've got up to the part that's called The Woman Pays. I think that's one of my favourite parts of the book, actually, because it becomes so it is melodramatic, but it really it drags you in, and the atmosphere at that, she's at this really isolated, exposed farm. The atmosphere there is really it really works. So hopefully when I get to the end of Tess, I'll be able to talk about it a bit more coherently, but I'm really enjoying the experience of going back into that book, and I think I love it as much as ever. There's just so much. It's one of those books that really bears rereading very well. There's so much to it, so many details that you don't necessarily notice at first, or so many passages that when you read them the first time, you wonder what it's about, but when you read them again and again, you just see the weight that they have for the story as it goes forward. So that's Tess. The other thing that we've been reading is Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. We've got a fair way into that. In any other book, that would almost be the whole book, probably. And it's so much better than The Order of the Phoenix. This is one of my favourite ones. And I feel like the character development and just the events, they're so much more engaging in this book. On a Harry Potter theme, I did treat myself yesterday to a new travel mug. I've always loved the Marauders map type designs, and I thought this was really nice. I needed a new one because, so this one's made of rice husks instead of plastic, and the one that I had before was also rice husks, but it cracked down the side. I don't know whether I might have dropped it, and that made it crack, and it just started dripping coffee out of it when I was walking along, and that's not really a good thing for a travel mug. So this is a nice little replacement. It does have a silicone band, but the silicone covers over the main part of the design, so I took it off. Yeah, I got that in the Waterstones. It's just around the corner here on Gower Street. It's a massive Waterstones. It's really nice. Then the other thing that I've been reading is some more of War Doctor by David Knott. I'm finding it really fascinating, all of the things that he has to say about... So it's a memoir of a man who's done a lot of surgery in war zones for organisations like MSF and something called Syria Relief that he worked with quite a lot. I'm finding it really interesting, what he has to say, what he describes about his experiences. Like most surgeons, consultant surgeons, particularly consultant surgeons who go on to write memoirs, there is a definite strong strain of arrogance in his personality. That's not necessarily harmful, but it's interesting to see how it affects the way that he interacts with the people around him and the things that he likes to do that he doesn't necessarily admit almost. He's very much he's a very big risk taker. He's quite he likes a life filled with drama, which is interesting. I have to say, in terms of the writing, every part of it is interesting, but when you string it together, it's a book that's basically about a lot of dramatic operations that he did. So you'll finish one operation, then there's a passage or two, and then, oh, there's another operation. And most of them are operations that he miraculously managed to achieve. It would be interesting to see maybe a couple more of the ones that didn't go quite so well, or the ones where maybe the operation went fine, but there was a complication after it. It would be interesting to see a little bit more of the variation, because I just have a little bit of doubt that actually all of his surgeries went so well when he's working in these very austere environments. But I would recommend it if you're interested in that kind of thing. Then that's about it for what I have been reading. But yesterday And every week so far I've gone into the library at the place where I'm doing my course, which is the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine, and it is just the most gorgeous library. I wish I had some pictures to show you, but I feel a bit weird walking around the like college library taking pictures, but it's like wood panelled floor to ceiling, and if you want to get a book out of the top, there's like a little step ladder you have to climb up, and in one of the rooms like there's like these wooden reading ledgers at the bottom of each in the middle of each set of shelves. It's just gorgeous, and then it's got these massive Art Deco lampshades. It's a really beautiful library, and I got quite a few books out this week. Well, just 3. The other ones I wanted to get out were massive. So I've got a guide to tuberculosis, because I'm thinking of doing my project on tuberculosis. This is like a little MSF guide. Then I've got more of a, I suppose, popular science style book on tuberculosis. It's called Spitting Blood, and it's by someone called Helen Bynum. I don't know anyone who's read this, so if you have read it, let me know, but I think it just goes through the story of tuberculosis as terms of like as a social condition back from when it was like seen as consumption, and the impact that it had in kind of Victorian and early society, going on to where tuberculosis is now. So in a bookish sense, tuberculosis is the illness that killed the Brontes. It's I think George Orwell had it. It's a disease that's associated with essentially poverty and poor social conditions. So it's a very interesting condition, I think, to dive into, so I'm hoping that this book will be good. And then finally I got a little Oxford Handbook of Tropical Medicine. I've got one of these for critical care, so I thought I'd have a little look at this one, and hopefully it's just going to have good introductions to all of the conditions that we're learning about, because I need it. I don't know that much about malaria. Malaria is very complicated. Don't know that much about immunology. Immunology is very complicated. So this course is quite a steep learning curve, but I like it. It's challenging. Okay, so I hope you're all having a lovely week, and I'm sorry for not responding to any comments last week, but I will get down to it and like add to that discussion. So if you get a response from me like in 3 weeks' time, it's because I finally had time to like sit down and think about it. Yeah, have a lovely week, and thank you for watching. Bye.